Many years ago, this tree fell, most likely in a storm. The tree limbs became a new tree, and the main tree trunk died. We think this is a hickory tree, but we really aren't sure. We used a chainsaw to chop off the dead part of the tree that used to be the trunk. Here it is. The sawn-off piece is very heavy, which indicates that there's a lot of the solid wood still remaining. We brought it inside just to let it dry out. It was long dead, but we let it dry out even further, just for a few weeks. There is still a lot of rot in this log, as you can see here by the pieces just falling out. But the heartwood feels very strong. I pulled out a handsaw and sawed off the very end, the smallest piece, to see if we could make anything of it. After sawing it off, we used the bandsaw to trim up as much of the dead wood as was possible. And to attempt to get it as close to a round shape as we could to put it on the lathe. I then hammered in the mandrel to the end of the board using a 2x6, since I still haven't made a mallet, and we placed it into the lathe. We started the turning process to see what was underneath the rot. And eventually started to get down to the nice, beautiful wood. Once we got it down to a mostly round shape, we then carried it back to the bandsaw and decided to make this one edge flat for a decorative effect. There was a rot here, and I did not have any epoxy to make this an epoxy project, so we decided to just leave it as is. I then covered it in Tung Oil, and that basically finished this project. Once the Tung Oil dried a little bit, this is what the finished project looks like. It wasn't really meant to be anything specific, just a test of the wood to see if the log underneath the rot had any value to continue working with, and to help me get used to using the lathe and the lathe tools. I consider this to be a success. The wood underneath is very usable. So now the plan is to go and cut the rest of the rotted part off to see how big the heartwood is underneath, to see what we can accomplish and what we may be able to do. I haven't tried making a bowl yet, and I'm thinking that there may be a nice enough piece under here to try to make one. Since I'm still learning, I'm trying to use anything that's free wood right now. That way I haven't really wasted anything other than the sharpness of a bit. So stay tuned, and hopefully soon we will have additional videos of preparing the big log and seeing what's underneath it and what we can make with it. As always, thanks for watching. As a side note, the wife is always telling me that my videos are just way too long. So we had this argument going back and forth that for this kind of stuff you just can't do 5-minute videos. So she bet me that I couldn't make a 5-minute video. Well, This proves her wrong.